Danielle, we talked in the first half of this segment, we talked about how there seem to be some MAGA people turning against Fox News. Another person who is not happy with a division of Fox News is Donald Trump himself. He's not happy that a Fox News poll uh, found that while 53% of Americans approve of Trump's handling of border security, 53% disapprove of his handling of immigration. This comes on the heels of a Quinnipiac University poll from just about a week ago showing that Trump's approval rating on immigration was at 43%. Basically, what we are seeing is that the polls are not great for Donald Trump when it comes to immigration, and that all the things that he is doing and all the reckless and illegal actions that he has ordered ICE to take are actually not playing well with a majority of the American people. And this is interesting.
One, I constantly say that, like, I take polls with a
Sure,
grain of salt all the
sure.
time because, again, it has to do with how you ask the questions, who you're asking the questions to, and what mechanism with which you're asking those questions. But if we're connecting the dots between Fox's latest poll and the Quinnipiac poll that we discussed last week, what we're seeing is exactly what you said, which is that people disapprove in large numbers of what Donald Trump is doing. And his signature issue is immigration and deportation. And on his signature issues of immigration and deportation, a majority of the country is not behind him. A majority of the country is not aligned with picking people up without due process, kidnapping them on the middle of the street, handcuffing, arresting public officials, and seeing just the kind of crumbling of our institutions, our safety nets, and having military thugs and hooded bandits on the street like ICE is not favorable among Americans. So this pushback that he's having to Fox, because again, Fox is state TV, right? State TV has been there to fan Donald Trump and tell him that he's amazing and everybody loves him and all of these things. But even in their own polling, they can't put out the lies that he wants them to put out to say that everyone is on board. And we just saw with our own eyes at least 6 million Americans around the country in 2,000 different cities and towns across the country marching. And what was the core issue that they're marching on? ICE, get the fuck out of our cities and get the fuck out of our towns. Who brought them there? Donald Trump, right? And it wasn't just folks in the blue cities like New York City and LA and what have you. It was places all over the country, particularly in red states and like small red towns that now have waitresses and workers that have gone missing that were beloved parts of the community. You're seeing these write-ups in the New York Times and in other places, right? So, oh, we didn't vote for this. The fuck you didn't. You absolutely did vote for this. But I think the fact is that, again, we're about 150 days into Donald Trump's second regime, which is amazing because I myself am 150 years old. So I don't understand how we're just 150 days in. But this is, again, supposed to be your honeymoon phase where
Yeah.
where you still have, right, the you still are kind of riding the high of the election that you won. And what we are seeing once again is that Donald Trump does not have the mandate that this administration came out and said that they had, that the American people gave them.
Yeah, a couple of quick points. One, I have to say, for 150, you look fantastic, Danielle.
Thank you.
I
Holding it
mean,
together with duct tape and a prayer, Andy.
whatever your skincare regimen is, it is working. The second thing I'll say is just Fox News polling is sort of independent of the Fox News nightmare, and they are generally a very respected polling organization. So much to the chagrin of a lot of the Fox News personalities, because as you point out, the Fox News polls tend to be fairly reliable as polls go because they're actually run by professionals and not by ideologues. But the third and I think most important thing, well, no, you looking fantastic is the most important thing. But the second most important thing is that what we need to take from these polls is that Democrats need to get off their asses and stop conceding the issue of immigration to Republicans. Because what we've seen historically, or at least over the past, I don't know, 10, 20 years, is that Democrats at best come across as Republican light
Yep.
when it comes to immigration.
Mm-hmm.
They still want to do, or they still say they want to do sort of all the things that Republicans do, but maybe a little less of it, or maybe do it a little more tactfully or in a nicer manner, more politely. But ultimately, they still want to remove people from this country, and they still want to talk about a strong border and all the rhetoric that Republicans use. Democrats fall right into that trap. And maybe if we keep seeing polls like this, maybe Democrats will get it into their head that a lot of people in this country think that immigration is a net positive. And that applies whether you have masked thugs out on the street kidnapping people and deporting them or not. Like, either way, there are a lot of people in this country who recognize that immigrants are good for this country and we should be welcoming to immigrants. And so, I really hope that a lot of these Democrats who seem to be beholden more to, what the polls say and what they believe the American people think than on having any sort of principles. I hope they will look at this and see that, oh, you know what? Maybe I can actually go out there and talk about immigrants as a net positive for this country, and that the idea of deporting them is bad. So that's what I hope for you, Danielle.
I want you to have hope, and I want you to hold fast
No,
to it.
I know.
But I
know.
really, really don't think that hope is going to float. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that Democrats are pretty much a lost cause, and that anytime that Republicans have been able to call them soft on crime, soft on immigration, Democrats are just fucking soft in the head at this point. Like, they have no backbone. They have no pushback. I'd like to believe that, oh, this gives them ammo, but are they putting the ammo inside of a leaded pencil? Unclear.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point. And I know that, I have sort of a reputation as a cockeyed optimist. And, and I do need to moderate that and be maybe a little more cynical. I think I'm just not cynical enough.
I don't understand how I haven't rubbed off on you in the last 3 years, but, get with the program.
Yeah, it's early.